want to jump into today, though, I want to talk about peaks and valleys. And this morning, I got up at about 5:45 this morning. My alarm went off at 5, but I'll be honest, I didn't get up on time. And I got up at 5:45 and got down here and started thinking about some things that I want to share with you guys today. And something kind of hit me with the peaks and valleys, what we're going through. And I want to specifically kind of cover the chargeback monster that we all face, because it's such a real topic. I mean, look, this business will pay like nothing else. It absolutely will. Some people say, well, Tony, you're being kind of negative about final. No, I'm not being negative. I believe final expense. Why I started this thing out with final expense is better than the annuity business. Final expense is better than PNC. Final expense is better than most other insurances or fields you could get into. In fact, some of you on this call make more than most family doctors. All right, the average family doctor makes, I think it's about 80 to 100,000 a year, maybe 120. Okay, I know many of you on the call are making significantly higher than that. Some of you double, not even close to triple that income. But I've seen guys who make great money go out of business because of the chargeback monster and how it affects us and what it does to us mentally. You know, my original mentor told me something. He says, Tony, you got a thick skin in this business. And for me, it was very hard to go to the door and have someone slam the door in my face or tell me to go away or grab a lead card out of my hand and rip it up. Or, you know, it just felt negative. And if I wasn't careful, it would have taken me out of business. And I had to learn to just focus, just go through that muck and deal with it and realize that, you know what, the money's there. And I was texting with Mark Dow this morning, and he was telling me how he's really learned to just enjoy the business, how it's become pleasurable. But it was hard initially for all of us, okay, to get through that. We had to push through. And there's peaks and valleys. So we've got the emotions we feel. We've got the chargeback monster, which is what I want to focus on primarily today, because I think it can take so many good agents out. And when Scott first joined many years ago now, actually it's been four plus years ago now. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, Scott. But anyways, you know, one of the first things I told him was, Scott, you've got to manage your money. I said, you're going to have more money in deposits than you've ever seen in your life. He was making good money in his current job, but I told him it was going to be nothing like that. And, of course, he got tons and tons of deposits. We set a monthly goal, a weekly goal. Here's what you got to do. Don't overspend. Save. She did all of that, which is why he's still in business today, you know. But so many people will go out and they will overspend. I used to know a guy named Dave. Some of you might still know him in the business, and he's been a hot mess for like 10 years doing insurance. And the reason why is he gets $6,000 in deposits. He spends $6,000 within a week. The next week he might get $3,000, and he spends $3,000. He might get $1,000. He spends $1,000. There's no mentality there of how to save or run a business, you know. And if someone said, Tony, what's one of the reasons you've been successful? One of them is I can manage money. I can have $50,000 sitting in an account and not go spend it. Let's be real. You guys wouldn't be comfortable if I was that kind of person. Like, Tone broke the bank, man. There's no money left in NSC's accounts, and we're all out of business. And so on a very small level, though, you have to do the same thing. Just like I have to manage, you know, $20,000 a week for leads, $30,000 sometimes. You guys need to manage the money you bring in and the chargebacks for expenses. And this is a big thing. And the reason why I cover it today, I've seen some very talented individuals who are making great money leave this industry, and it's a shame because they couldn't manage their money. I'm going to use an example. This is a real example, just like I would tell a story to Mrs. Johnson. I would tell you guys a story. When I used to work for HIS way back in the day, there was a guy named Chris out of Texas. I forget Chris's last name now, but I wouldn't say it anyways. But Chris, good guy, man, real nice guy out of Texas. Him and his mom both worked for the company. And Chris left the business. I don't know. I was humming along, and he seemed like he was doing pretty good. And he was doing $4,000 or $5,000 a week, and he left the business. And I remember we talked after he left, and he said, you know, I was really making more money than I'm making now. He took a salary job for like $50,000 a year. And he said he was making more money in insurance than he was his new job, but he admitted he couldn't handle the ups and downs, the hills and valleys, the roller coaster ride, the peaks, okay? It was great when we were on top, but when we got down, people weren't ready for it. So he left. He went to be an equipment salesman, selling large equipment because he couldn't handle it. He needed a little salary, a little tidbit of money. Now, that was, I think, my second year in business, so it was probably the first guy I've seen go out of business due to just not managing money properly, not watching what he did, and taking time off. Oftentimes, agents will get a good week, and they'll take 2 weeks off, and then they have a few chargebacks, and they're writing through those chargebacks, which wouldn't have been a problem if they would have just kept going. A very, very wise man who is still in the business today. I consider him to be kind of a mentor, and he told me a long time ago, he says, Tone, he says, the key to success is, like, you still want to be in this business. He says, I've been doing this business for 16 years. Now it's probably been 20, actually, 25 even, because it's been a while ago since he talked to me about this. He said, you need to hit your number every week and never miss. And, I mean, it just stuck with me when he said it. He said, you need to hit your number and not miss. And so I went ahead and I've always made my goal personally to be, around 4,500, minimum 4,000. And in my mind, it's always been, I try to write 4,000 with clean business, not rewrites. I think just good new business off of new leads or referrals. And I'll tell you, it's been phenomenal, But people oftentimes get all worked up. They get a couple of chargebacks. They have a few problems, and they start questioning, maybe I'm not supposed to be in this business. Maybe I need to go do something else. Maybe I need to take a job, And I just want to encourage you to really think about those thoughts when they come in and what you could be walking away from. What I could have walked away from. Probably my second year in business, I'd gotten in a spot, and there again, this is just being new. I'm going to be very real today on the call because I have made millions and millions of dollars in the final expense game. For my second year in business, I was, I think, $4,500 in debt with multiple companies. So I had, I think, $2,500 with one company, $1,800 with another, probably $4,000. And it was a tough spot, and I'd almost kind of run out of money. And it was really partly new. Partly the system wasn't as good. So you might say, well, I don't want to deal with that. Well, some of that was because I was spending $1,000 and $1,200 a week with no guaranteed lead return. So that was part of it. But some of it was just my inexperience. And I got hit with these chargebacks. And I'll tell you what I've seen a lot of people do is they start overthinking it. Oh, my gosh, I'm in debt. I can't handle it. I've got to go right my way out of this. And I guess maybe it's a gift. Maybe it's just something I've always done. I just went to work, man. I wrote my way out of it. And listen, when you get chargebacks, you got to charge back with a vengeance. And the biggest thing I want you to understand from today's talk is everything you write isn't really yours initially. If you get $7,000 in deposits next week and you're a new agent, those aren't yours. I want you to realize that. Maybe not some of it is. But I want you to learn to live on what you're comfortable with normally. So I'd hired a guy that was a sheriff, probably early in my management career. And I remember telling him, I said, listen, what are you making at the sheriff's office? He told me, I think it was $700 a week, $750. I said, listen, you're going to make a lot more than that. I said, just try to live on exactly what you've been living on. Pay your leads, pay your expenses. I said, and after 6 months, a year, let's look at where we're at. And you go from there. And he did. And, he's still in business today. He's crushing it. Not for me. That's what happens when you give your agents to other companies. But, he's doing very well. And that's been the method of my madness for a long time, is teaching agents how to be stable. But I had an opportunity to walk away from the business because at $4,500, it could have been overwhelming. It could have put me out many times. Been a few times I've been hit with huge debts. Some of you say, well, Tone, it's easy for you today because you've got a huge team, huge organization, man. You're making all this money. Well, it's true, but just like you're going to get chargebacks at an appropriate level for an agent, I'm going to get a chargeback at an appropriate level for a manager or an owner of a company. And, you guys remember KPAWs recently. I mean, I'm just going to put it out there because I think it's important. I got hit with over $30,000 in lead roll-ups that didn't get bought, and at least $8,000, maybe $9,000 in actual chargebacks. that I'm still owed. I guarantee I'll never see. I'm just going to have to eat it. There was a guy in Dayton, Ohio. You guys don't know, but many years ago now, rolled $7,000 to me in debt. There's been many, many others. Usually they're $2,000, $3,000. And sometimes managers, including myself, we get frustrated. We want to give up. We say, man, I'm just tired of getting hit with stuff. But then I got to look back and realize all the money I've made. And this call today is meant to be positive and encouraging, guys. Listen, I've had many opportunities to leave the business, and I haven't, even when there was tough times, even when there was negativity, even when people stuck me with tremendous amounts of debt. A girl out of North Carolina a while ago rolled up a significant amount of debt to one of the managers, and that rolled up to me because the manager didn't cover it. I had a manager out of Louisiana left me with probably $20,000 in debt. All right, and a lot of lead debt as well. We still got probably $10,000 in leads in Baton Rouge, not purchased. And why am I telling you all this? Because I want to tell you, I go through the same muck you guys do, and I'm still making tons and tons of money each and every week. Okay? And so there's frustrations in our business. There's going to be chargebacks, whether you're at a manager level, whether you are at an agent level, you've got to go through them, okay? You know, it's funny. A lot of people are in the real estate game, and I know Donald Trump we'll use him as an example. He was in the real estate game for many years, took some huge losses. Do you think that made him stop and say, I'm not going to be in real estate anymore because I lost on some big deals, lost some money? And that's why I look at this whole game. Insurance is an incredible opportunity. The money we make is incredible. You know, my good buddy Josh Diani, he was telling me yesterday, we were hanging out together, and you know, there are clients that just don't pay. By the way, you don't want to not pay your attorney. That's a bad idea. But anyways, he was telling me there's clients that just choose not to pay. So he's got a form of a chargeback. And I think some people get overwhelmed with it. They focus on the money they're not getting paid. Does that mean he's not going to be an attorney anymore? Well, I had 10% of my clients didn't pay me last year. You know, people are going to do crazy things. You know, Walmart has people stealing off their shelves. In fact, they just figure for it. They're like, we're going to lose a certain amount to theft. In fact, all companies figure that. There's going to be employee theft. There's going to be theft from consumers. Does that mean they're going to get out of the business? No. They're going to fight through it. And the hardest thing for most people is most of you were trained in a very specific employment model, employment mentality. And when you jump into final expense, it's like having your own company. And we try to provide you the platform and the skills and everything you need to be successful, but you've got to learn what all these other companies learned. What Walmart learned about people stealing, what the lawyers learned about people not paying, what I've learned about agents and managers rolling debt up, what other agents experienced. And guys, if you learn to master that, I'll tell you what, if you learn to master that, you will make so much money in this business. If you learn to focus, if you don't get distracted, if you just push yourself and do what you're supposed to do every single day. The key is consistency. Every single day, every single week, hitting your numbers. It's incredible what lifestyle you can generate. Maybe you don't want to set the world on fire. Maybe you just say, you know what, I want to make good money and I want to live life. You know, well, it is possible to do that in this business. And I believe 3 days a week is an acceptable number if you're working 3 big days, and you can still make $100,000 a year. Now, for you new agents, you should be working 5 minimum, sometimes 6 if you need to get the job done. Because listen, that first year, the only thing that matters is numbers. There was never a week that I went home, I'm like, well, I put my 4 days in now and I still haven't hit my goal. No, I was in the field until I hit my goal. I don't care if it took 7 days. It had to happen. I had to hit my goal. It was religious to me to hit my goal. That's the reason I've succeeded. That's the reason I continue to succeed. I will not, like there are things that have to happen in life, you know. If I've got to work the weekend still today, I will. And that's what I want you guys to understand. When you get hit with a chargeback or a negative thing in life, you've got to charge back. A few years ago, You want to talk about something that's hard? I'm driving home. I had just closed this massive deal, man. I went all day in Indianapolis, and I got this husband and wife. She had COPD, nice people, you know. I went there at like 4 o'clock, and the wife was the only one home, so I come back in the evening, and the husband was there, and I wrote it up, and it was a classic case, and I forget who I called. I called somebody. I was so excited. Man, I got a deal finally. Finished the day with $2,000, and it was the next morning, man, right after the conference call. Of course, I had got on the call, and I talked about all the success I had and all the awesomeness of the business, and boom, Mrs. Johnson calls me. She changed her mind. I don't know why. I have no idea why. I mean, she just wasn't comfortable with it. And husband, I don't know if it was too much for their budget, but they needed it. I was putting in a better plan than what they had. Changed their mind. Yep, that happens to me too, guys. And that was hard. Let me tell you something. That was hard. Just feeling. I can still feel it. But you know what? I went back to work on Thursday, and I kept on going. I think I finished the week pretty decent. Probably still under my goal where I wanted to be, but it was close, and that hurt. Okay? That takes some people out of the business. Let's be real. That mental fight that, oh, man, I just lost that. All of you who know, all of you writing business know what I'm talking about. It happens to the best of us, okay? But I want to also tell you, on the other side of that, so I lost that $2,000 in premium. I have made well over $1 million, probably a couple $1 million in deposits since that day, all right? And there's nothing different between me and any of you listening to me right now. 9.5 years ago, I was just a guy, a trim carpenter, who decided that it was time to have a life change and do something different because the economy had crashed. There was no money in construction anymore. And I jumped into this thing called insurance. And I've been able to really live a life like few people and been able to invest in things like few people and be able to do things like few people. But I had to go through all that. I will continue to go through that. If you think that a manager rolling like $30,000, $40,000 to me, that's the last time that's going to happen, I'm doubtful. Some of you say, Tony, why do you stay in the business then? Because it pays. Because the chargebacks are always going to be there, man. That's why we get paid so dang much money. Because we're better. Because we stick with it. Because we hang in there. Because it happens. Okay? So I want you guys to think about that as you're driving through your day-to-day. You're hitting your goals. Maybe you're dealing with a little bit of chargebacks from last week. I don't know. You know, nobody told me anything specific, by the way. I'm not speaking to anybody. Every night I got to get a call. Hey, were you talking about me? No, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking to the team as a whole. But I'm thinking about all of you guys and the things we all face each and every day. And I'm just telling you, man, hang in there. Start to put your heart into it every week. Hit your goals. And over time, you just won't care anymore. You get in that place Mark Dow and I were talking about this morning. We were texting. Where you just enjoy the business. It becomes a pleasure. You're writing cleaner business. You're writing more of it. More of it sticks. The first 2 years, they're a little harder. I'm being real with you. But man, if you're one of the ones that makes it through, it gets crazy, crazy good. And so focus on draft days, not overselling, and building rapport with your customers. All things a lot of new agents forget to do or don't spend as much time on. And those will help your persistency, help you keep more of it. And don't fall for the traps of, well, I'm not going to deliver my policies. I'm just going to send them in the mail because I've got to go write new business. Please don't do that. It could take you out of business, you know. Customer service is always first, and then you'll have the opportunity to get more business, and you'll keep more, and you'll stay in long term.